The farmer we're meeting now has several jobs. She's an artificial insemination technician and farms sheep and beef. She also works at the local sale yards, and as if that's not enough, she's active in her local young farmers group. All this while taking on more and more of the family farm, helping out her father who lost a limb in an accident. I caught up with her checking on stock one afternoon in early summer.
Come on, Jen. This way. My name is Sarah Maxwell. I'm a farmer from near Feilding in the Manawatu.
Give us a bit of a lowdown of what you've been up to this morning.
So I left, did my AI run this morning, so I've been around 5 farms this morning.
And AI is artificial insemination.
Yes,
it's that time of year, isn't it?
Yes, I'm about at my peak of about 3 weeks right now. Everyone's just full on getting nervous about returns, which is a fun activity, but you know, it is what it is. You have to pretend you know what you're doing. I think it must be about 75 this morning, which I think is probably about my average at the moment.
And do you work on your own?
Yes, in terms of AI, I work on my own. So there's the odd time where it'll be other people because it's like a big day or something, but 95% of the time it is myself.
Now we are on the farm that your family has here in the Manawatu. Tell us a little bit about it.
I'm 6th generation farmer here, and so we are finishing country effectively. It's like virtually flat. You can see as far as you can really. Finishing lambs through winter. We have a few grazing heifers for fun. Got some cropping, which we're about to put some peas in these paddocks here. Trying to figure it out really, because we've had it back for about 4 years now, and so it is a bit much of just, what are we doing? But we're all learning, aren't we? Learning together.
So it was leased prior?
Yes, leased for 13 years. So we leased it out because my father had an accident where he lost his arm, because that got to a point where Dad's like, I don't want to sell it, but mentally he was like, I can't have a town job and let someone else run it, with him being in charge still. So we leased it to the neighbours and they extended their block. And we took it back 4 years ago when I returned to New Zealand because I was overseas. And now I'm faking it till I make it, really.
But you say that, but you're the stock manager here on the family farm.
Yeah, I suppose I am. I suppose I do manage or make the overarching decisions. Dad's still very much involved, without a doubt.
So what would you normally do after a morning spent doing AI?
Most often I'll probably go around, check the animals, because I've got a couple mobs of cattle at the moment, like 1-year-old Angus and Jersey, and then we've got a few loitering trade lambs that have decided to have lambs, and that it is actually our quieter period, so we don't have to be dagging lambs or drenching lambs left, right and centre. But I also work at the sale yards in Feilding, so like Feilding sale yards are one of the biggest sale yards in the country, so I do like the online bidding, so people that aren't physically able to make it to sale yards can still buy stuff, but I'm the one that's in the room physically saying what the bid is, you know what I mean? And so that involves going through and taking photos and writing down all the information at the start. There's a couple of us, we work together and we're the ones that are physically there, being the in-person representation for the online bids.
Being the voice of those people.
Yes, that's the way of saying it.
That's a fast-paced environment.
Yes. Keeps you on your toes. I think you'd go insane if you did it every day of the week, but for 1 or 2 days a week, it keeps you on your toes.
Do you use her for work?
Yeah. She's getting there. She's only young still, but she is getting there. And I'm also not the best dog trainer, but I mean, you know, together we're getting there slowly. Nah, this winter she's actually come a long way. She doesn't like Jersey heifers. I don't know. She doesn't care about Angus ones. Doesn't like Jerseys though.
Particularly Jerseys.
Particularly Jerseys. I couldn't tell you. They're all the same age, they're all the same weight.
We're just moving on to some really lush pasture now.
Very lush. That's why the cattle in here. Yeah, so this paddock is full of clover, chicory and grass. To be fair, it looks pretty incredible, I must admit.
It does, it is very lush.
This is the moment we make sure the cattle aren't... Oh, they are stood up, that's good.
They're all hiding there down below. I can see them, a mob of beautiful looking Angus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what are you doing with these?
So we only bought these 6 weeks ago, just to try and eat some grass and grow fat, grow quickly, hopefully. So one might take some through to being killed, but I might also sell some before Christmas, the lighter ones that won't quite, because I don't really like having big cattle on here in winter because it's so heavy. The soil is very heavy clay soil, and so cattle just make a mess, and it just makes everything worse, you know. People think I'm mad for it. Part of it's also I like just letting some paddocks at least once a year go a bit long just to make sure they've got some roots down. Jen, come here. Jenny, come here. Jenny, come here. Jen, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. She just likes chasing animals. Jenny, come here. Jenny, come here. Good girl.
Now, what are you seeing in terms of prices, and how's that affecting what you do?
The sheep is not fun. The sheep situation is not great. To be fair for us, though, we work on margins. We're predominantly lamb trading. Like right now, we don't have any trading lambs on, apart from our own couple of hundred bred ones. As long as we can buy them at a good price and we can sell them, even if the market's average, it's still like, it's the margin we're after, not so much the overall price, which is a bit of a balancing act because like the season just been, it started off really good in terms of lamb trading, and then July it just decided to nope. And so we did have a bit of a moment.
You bought them in higher than you would have liked.
Yes, and but I think that was with everybody though. That wasn't just a straight up our problem. That was an everybody problem, you know, or at least in terms of lamb trading around here.
So who makes the decisions around that? You or your dad, or both of you?
I feel like it's probably becoming prominently more me, but Dad has still definitely got an opinion. Like not in a bad way, but he's definitely still.
Well, he's seen it.
He was trading lambs 20 years ago. Like I mean, he's been there and done it and like knows the systems, doesn't he? So
how has it changed over the years, and what are you seeing, and what are you adding to the business?
Well, I'm adding chickens.
You're adding chickens.
Adding chickens.
Well, we'll get onto that in a sec.
Yeah.
But is there anything else around the actual growing of the stock?
I suppose I'm still learning myself to a certain degree, and that is like what I really appreciate about my dad is like he is very good at being like, well, this is how I did it. Do with what that information you will. Like he's not very much like we have to do it this way, because I think a lot of people, if you go and like we have to do it this way, they just defences go up. Whereas I'm very much learning. I'm definitely still learning how this all works.
Sarah, you did go to Lincoln, didn't you?
Yes.
What did you do there?
I did a Bachelor of Commerce and Agriculture. So that was a 3-year degree down in Christchurch. And yeah, learned about business, I suppose. I definitely learned about stuff, but sometimes I'm like, did I?
Was the intention always to come back to this place, to the family farm?
I think it always has been like the long-term game. And I think because I came back here when I just turned 24 when I came back, and part of me even now still thinks, I'm like, as a female, there is going to be like, if I ever have family or whatever, there is the physical limitation of having a family. So I'm like, I'd rather get this type of stuff rolling now and add to it over time than start when I was 40 and be like, I feel like I need to retire.
Good planning. You're getting lots of different experience, aren't you?
Oh, for sure. And even in the last 4 years, the business itself has changed.
How's that?
So we did a lot of grazing, like dairy grazing heifers the first 18 months.
And why did you want to get back into the sheep trading?
A, diversity. B, historically, I don't love the idea of having lots of cattle here in winter.
It's not great for the soil.
No, sorry, it's terrible. Like they just stand, like as soon as it starts raining, they just stand in a corner and make mud, and they peck a sad. And we still have grazing heifers, but they're more spring weaners and some spring trading cattle. But it's more just trying to find that balance of looking after the soil and looking after the farm while actually making money, because at the end of the day, you need to make money to actually be here, doesn't it? So
look at them. They are all very curious, and they're just watching us as we stand here while I interview you.
They're just like, who are these people talking?
Should we wander back?
Yes. Come on, Jen. This way. Your head's on playing. Sorry, I didn't have to come here. You're still playing? Yeah.
Ross Maxwell's my name. Lived on the farm here all my life, and 5th generation of our family to work this farm. Sarah's the 6th. I'm really proud that she's here to carry on the legacy.
We're standing on the veranda here at your beautiful home. Has it been in the family for a long time?
Yeah, Yes, there was just bush here before my great-great-grandparents came here, and they built a little house just adjacent here, but that burnt down. This was built in 1900 or finished in 1900. Well, it started off as bush, and they cut it down and milked a few cows and grazed a few sheep until they got proper pastures and developed into a sheep farm, breeding ewes and cropping eventually.
So you've pretty much kept it as your ancestors had it?
Yeah, I suppose it has at the point, except we're finishing more lambs and only a few breeding ewes and quite a few grazing heifers.
And you're still working on the farm?
Yep, when I'm allowed. To be fair, Sarah probably does, well, she does the majority of the stock work and I do the majority of the tractor work.
And Sarah's ideas, your ideas, do they mesh?
Most of the time. Not always. Actually, Sarah's new ideas, good ideas, have sort of carried on what we've been trying to do anyway, just a different way of getting there.
It must be great to have your daughter involved.
Oh yes, very much. Yeah, fresh ideas, younger muscles, always help. And probably the afternoons when there's a big mob of lambs just come off a truck and need a drink is probably time for me to find something else to do. But leave that to Sarah's department.
Yeah, because you had an accident earlier on, and that
20 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would have hindered your farming.
Massive, life-changing experience. So I worked off the farm for a few years, selling machinery and travelling a fair bit with work and things like that. But yeah, the lure of home on the farm was pretty strong. And so yes, Sarah and I working as a tag team, I suppose.
Back in the paddock among the cows, Sarah explains her plan to produce pasture-raised eggs for sale. She's bringing on a chicken caravan. Hens move around the farm in their solar-powered, self-contained home, doing their bit for the soil.
It's got like the perches for them to sleep on. It's got the nesting boxes so they can lay eggs in it, and we've got a feeder outside of it which is going to be dragged around. But basically the trailer opens up in the morning because it's got 4 doors on the sides which automatically open in the morning, and the birds can go out and just eat grass and pasture-raised chickens effectively. And so you still need to feed them some grain, but they actually scratch around the dirt, and because it's a trailer you can actually move it around the farm. And so I'm going to be a mad chicken lady soon, we'll see.
And this is going to help the soil as well, you think?
Yes, for sure. And that's to be fair, I think that's actually, if I think about it, part of where it originally started. I mean, at the end of the day, 450 chickens on 200 hectares, it's a blip in the ocean. It's not massive, but it's all just kind of, why not? Give it a go. I think I managed to keep cattle and sheep alive relatively all right, so may as well give chickens a go.
Now, are you going to be having a little business selling the eggs from the gate, or what are you going to be doing with them? Because they'll be producing quite a lot, won't they?
Yeah, so 450 chickens, it's a lot of eggs a day. More eggs than I can eat. So I'm kind of hoping to be able to, in time, sell them all directly to the customer myself.
This is going to double your workload, isn't it, Sarah?
Yeah, look, we'll get there.
And you say you're part of a regenerative discussion group.
Yes, I've already been part of it for the last couple of years, I think. But yeah, it's basically like farmers around the Manawatu have, just catch-ups and effectively discussion group style things. But in terms of like, what can we do to look after the land? And at the end of the day, we all want to make sure we can make a dollar, because that's what you need to do. But it's also just doing it so you're actually being kind to Mother Nature in the same respect, isn't it? So New Zealand as a whole is actually a very regen style farming practice to begin with. And so it's not saying there's good farmers and bad farmers, it's more just I'm always open for ideas, basically.
Sarah Maxwell adding another string to her bow at the family farm near Bunnythorpe in Manawatu. You also heard from her father, Ross Maxwell.